Greetings, ladies and gentlefish. Today I'll turn this stock Vigero ZX based on the Camaro base model and regular model into a beautiful ZL1. So stay tuned for that. I appreciate your viewer requests. So with that stuff said, let's get into this customization. Now with the bumpers, I'm gonna do my best to get as close as I can to the real ZL1. One of the most powerful and fastest trim levels of the Camaro, produced from about 2018 till maybe 2024. I believe this was discontinued. So right now, I'm also going through the customization too, but I'm mostly just gonna, get as close as possible, based on memory. So I believe what you want to go for would be the trim fin splitter. There's also a carbon option here. Let's see, let me go one more time. So let's do carbon instead. And for the rear, you got some carbon, you got your usual secondary. Again, I'm kind of going based on memory here, so instead of going back and forth and, looking at pictures and up here at the same time, I'm gonna do my best to get as close as possible, guys. But sometimes I like to deviate from the script, so I might just do that. But plenty of these bumper options or diffusers are very good looking. So whatever you ultimately go for, I mean, these are pretty good. So just bear with me here for a second. What's the difference here? Ah, that's carbon. So for this, let's just go for the carbon competition for now. I might change it later for my community post pictures, but I'm just gonna put that for now. Now for the exhausts. Oh, I love the double exhaust right here. You have titanium. Then you got these double exhausts. You got some more carbon here, or secondary, should I say. Then you got these hexagon designs. I have to rev the engine to get the smoke out of the way for some reason. You got your performance options here. I might just go for the double or this right here. I feel like it would make a bit more sense to go for this because uh, because the double exhaust, that's similar to the SS trim level. And now this is pretty easy right here. I'm gonna skip some of these. And this is definitely one of the closest options. Actually, this one here, the black GT grill. Here are the other options in case if you haven't seen them already. So let's just go for that. And for the hood, I feel like it already comes with a stock ZL1 hood, but you also get the secondary option here. You got some more carbon. I might just do that. Who doesn't like carbon, right? Unless it's, a weird type of carbon. Then you got some vented here. The aftermarket is similar to the SS trim level and the lower trim levels. Then you have, just a whole shell. This is also similar to the SS. I believe there's another trim level that had this. And the rest are aftermarket bits, as you can see. The engine is very nice. And I'll get into that later too. But let me go back here. Let me put some carbon. For the lights, you could put some xenon, but I think they're good enough already. Now for the liveries, I know that this isn't part of the customization, but I kind of just want to go through it. Even though the real car didn't really have liveries on it, what you do get here is spectacular, very well done and detailed, high resolution as well. Except for that little bit, it looks a little low quality, but the rest of it is just very well done. I can't complain. So it's really up to what you want to go for. And for the louvers, if this is your thing, I feel like it could work very well if you like this sort of thing here. But personally, I'm just gonna leave it off. So let's leave that stock. For the mirrors are pretty accurate already. You can do secondary and carbon. You can change it to the 10th generation Camaro mirrors or the previous generation before this one. I believe it was the 10th. It has a slimmer design. Let's make these carbon. I did not make a special plate for this, but now for this, I want to go for, let's see, a classic, and I want to make it an orange. I do not remember the name that Chevrolet calls the oranges for the Camaros or for the ZL1 in particular. So let's see. It's either this one uh, or another one. I swear there was another type of orange, guys. I apologize, but let me see. Uh, I'll just settle with a sunrise orange for now. But there's plenty other colors on here that look spectacular. It's really all a matter of personal preference. And now for the secondary, let's do another classic. Let's see what changes. Some changes in the interior here, which is pretty cool. But I'll just leave it as black stitching. And for the interior, you could change it up a bit. But I feel like it's more realistic if you leave it as a darker plastic color. Graphite is fine already. Now for the roof, you can add some secondary and carbon. Um, I do not recall if the real car had extra carbon. But I feel it would make sense if I added that option there. For the skirts, you have your usual carbon, your secondary, different designs here. I like the stock, how the stock skirts look, but mm, I feel it would make a bit more sense if I put something like this, even though the design looks kind of off to me personally. Let's just do the performance kit for now. And for the wings, this is a pretty easy one. I believe the street spoiler here, it's either the street spoiler or... No, not that one. That one's a generic design. This one too. It's definitely not these in the bottom, but it's probably going to be the street spoiler. I believe that's the closest that you're gonna get to the ZL1. But it's really up to you. This one looks pretty decent too. So let's keep it moving. The sun strips, if you want to do that kind of thing, you could do that. For the suspension, let's get this low. Not too low. Maybe a street suspension for now. And for the wheels, this design is actually pretty similar to the actual car. However, it did not come in chrome. So in order to make up for that, I'm gonna put a design that's relatively similar, and that's gonna be the high fives. Even though these are 5 spokes, and I believe the other one had more spokes to them, so let's just put this. And the wheel color, let's make it a darker light type of color. I believe the stone silver looks good, or the black steel. Man, it's kind of tough. Because the wheels weren't that dark. They were kind of on the lighter side. And so I think I'm just going to go with the stone silver for now. The tires. If you want to do some tire lettering or design, that's your thing. I'm just going to leave it off. Of course, I'm forced to put on bulletproof tires because I mostly play on public sessions all the time. And all that's left for me to do here is just tint the windows or just show you the window tints, how they look like on here. And then I'm gonna give you the full deep review, so just give me a sec here. So yeah, let's just put on a light tint. Alright guys, give me a sec here and I'm gonna talk about the interior detail. Detail and texture quality is great. As you can see here, it has a very nice engine here made for the real Camaro. So I think Rockstar did a very good job at imitating this. Then you have some other bits here, some other plastic bits here. Uh, it's pretty cool. And the front is very well made as well. Unfortunately, there is no sunlight, so I gotta use this. It even has a reflector right there, which is pretty sweet. I love when they include those details. The interior, this has been seen before with other vehicles, plenty of vehicles actually, but I feel like it fits the design very well. So it's not too generic. It even has a logo in the center of the steering wheel. So I feel they did a pretty great job with this. And here the boot is pretty decent. You could probably fit one person in there, an extra passenger. And the tail lights are nice. The exhausts are pretty cool. I might change these later, but I'll see. But man, I mean, this car has been in the game for about 3 years now, and it still holds up with other recent DLC vehicles. So with that said, I'm gonna show you or just go through the performance. So just give me a sec here, guys. Speed and handling is great. However, with the HSW upgrade, it gets a lot worse. Uh, and that's because the rear tires receive a lot more power, causing it to spin out more. So it's a bit more difficult to handle. But if you have the money and the skill or the practice, then I mean this is a pretty good car to choose, especially if you do the time trials and stuff like that. I mean this is, I mean I love this car too. I love muscle cars. Sometimes when I'm in the mood of driving muscle cars, this is one of my go-tos, and it really does satisfy that itch, you know. The handling is all right. I mean the steering, it's all right. The steering. As I said, the rear wheels receive a lot of power. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you for sticking by. I hope you liked my review and customization. And that's all I gotta say for today. Thanks for tuning in.